Downloading images one by one wastes so much of your time. In this tutorial, you'll learn how to scrape them in bulk using Python and residential proxies. Let's see how it's done. Today, I'll show you how to extract images from both static and dynamic pages. The process will differ, so let's start with static sites. The prerequisites for this tutorial are Python 3.7 or higher, request library, beautiful soup, and Decodo residential proxies to bypass IP blocks. To begin with, create a project directory and add a text file. Open it and start writing. First, we'll import the libraries we need. Beautiful soup parses HTML and extracts data. Meanwhile, request fetches the web pages. Next, define the target URL. We'll scrape images from this Decodo help page, but you can enter any static page you want. Now, set up your proxy credentials. Replace username, password, hostname, and port placeholders with your actual proxy credentials. This tells request to route your connection through a Decodo proxy server. Now, send a GET request to fetch the page. We're passing our proxy configuration for both HTTP and HTTPS traffic, so the request goes through Decodo's proxy server. Next, parse the HTML response with beautiful soup. We use the HTML.parser to convert the raw HTML into a structure we can easily search through. Now we'll loop through all image tags on the page. For each image, we check if it has a source attribute. If it does, we print the URL, extract the file name from the URL path, and send a request to download that image. Finally, save the image to your local directory. We open a file in write binary mode and write the image content to it. Then, close the file to free up system resources. Now, save your script as a Python file and run it in your terminal. In a moment, you'll get all the scraped images in your project directory. That's all for scraping images from static pages. Now, let's move on to dynamic content. To follow along, you'll need Python 3.7 or higher, Playwright library, requests, and Decodo residential proxies. For this project, start by creating a project directory and add a text file. First, import the libraries. Playwright automates the browser to handle dynamic content. Requests downloads the images. URL join converts relative URLs to full ones. And OS manages our file operations. Next, define your target URL. We'll scrape images from this BBC News topic page, but you can input any dynamic page address you want. Set the output directory where downloaded images will be saved. We'll call it images. Now, configure your proxy credentials. Replace username, password, hostname, and port with your actual Decodo proxy details. The following code creates the output directory if it doesn't already exist. The existOK parameter prevents errors if the folder is already there. Now, launch a Playwright browser instance. We're using Chromium in headless mode, which runs without a visible window. The proxy configuration splits our credential string to extract the server address, username, and password separately. Then, create a new browser page object. This is where we'll load and interact with the target website. Navigate to the target URL. We wait until the content is loaded and then add an extra 5-second pause to ensure any initial scripts have finished running. With this code, we scroll down the page 5 times to trigger lazy loaded images. Each scroll moves down by 1 viewport height with a 1.5-second pause between scrolls. Now, initialize an empty list to store the image URLs we find. Loop through all image elements on the page. For each one, we check both the src and data src attributes, since some images use lazy loading. We skip data URLs, then convert relative URLs to absolute ones. Finally, we add valid HTTP URLs to our list. Now, close the browser to free up resources. Print how many images we found on the page, and initialize a counter to track successful downloads. Next, let's loop through each image URL. Extract the file name from the URL by taking the last part of the path and removing query parameters. If there's no file name, generate one using the image's position in the list. Send a GET request to download the image. We set a 15-second timeout to avoid hanging on slow responses. Then, we only save images larger than 1000 bytes. This filters out tiny placeholders. If the image qualifies, save it and print confirmation. If anything fails, the scraper skips it and moves on. Finally,
print a summary showing how many images were successfully downloaded and where they are saved. Now, let's save the script as a Python file and run it in our terminal. In a moment, you'll be able to see our scraping progress. When the script finishes running, you'll also see a new folder created in your project directory with all images extracted.
And just like that, you've automated image scraping with Python. Ready to try it yourself? Get the full code and Decodo residential proxies in the video description. I'll see you next time.